All right, it is 12:05, so I would like to go ahead and get started just to be conscious of everyone's time. Welcome and happy Thursday. Today is our third of 5 partner calls, and we're talking all about social media today, which I am personally very excited about because that is my job. And I should be able to provide you guys with a lot of help today, and my goal is to answer as many questions as possible. And I really want to encourage everyone to not be shy today. Don't be afraid to unmute yourself when appropriate or drop any questions that you have in the chat. If for some reason I don't get to your question today, or I miss your question, feel free to also email me afterwards. If you don't feel comfortable sharing with the group, you can also feel free to use my email at any time to ask me questions. I try to respond as quickly as possible. A couple more people trickling in, but I'm going to go ahead and get started. So social media is, in my opinion, the biggest gateway that we have to connecting with the people who we wish to serve and to the people who are willing to help young people in need. So, of course, with National Runaway Prevention Month being an awareness campaign, this is the easiest way for us to all come together and bring awareness. So today's objectives, what we're going to be talking about are the social media focused national events, planning and scheduling content, and then how to maximize engagement so that everything that you're doing is driving people to your websites and to help them learn about your programs. You'll notice that at the bottom of our slides here, it has our social media handles. I would really love if everyone took the time to drop their social media handles for their organizations into the chats as well, so that I can go through and make sure that we're also following you guys, and so that we can engage with you throughout the month. I've been trying to make sure that as you guys follow us on social media that we follow back, but of course every now and then they slip through the cracks. So please, if you can, just take a moment to drop your, especially Instagram and Twitter handles into the chat, and TikTok if you have TikTok. So starting off with the national events, the national event calendar is available on the website, which is at the bottom on the screen. You'll see here 1-800-runaway.org/NRPM. There's a collection of resources there, and one of the very first buttons says National Events Calendar. And if you'll click it, it'll open up this in a much larger PDF format for you, and it has a brief description of the days and what's going to be happening that day. The first day is a social media kickoff or a social media blast, which will happen on the very first day of NRPM, which is the first. The idea is at the kickoff of the month, we all are posting on social media at the same time. So we've provided a bunch of assets on the 1-800-runaway.org website. You can download those assets for free and use them as you please. But the whole goal of the social media kickoff is to increase the number of people that are posting using the NRPM hashtag, which is NRPM 2022. With that, if we get enough people to participate, then we can get that to trend in different areas. The more people in the area participate, the more likely we are to trend. Our goal should be to have NRPM 2022 trending across the country. So it's really important that we have a huge concentration of people posting and sharing posts on the first, talking about National Runaway Prevention Month starting, and this being the first day. That same week, we will also be doing Education Week, and we're going to talk today about what the actual Education Week topics are today. Since November starts on a Tuesday this year, we're going to use the first day of that week, Monday, October 31st, to talk specifically about key statistics related to mental health and how that affects the homeless youth population. And then we'll get into more of the exact topics in the next slide. So I'll save that for then. Also happening, that is Resource Day. The importance of Resource Day is not just to share your own resources, because that is 50% of it, is making sure that you are posting about the specific programs that your organization has to offer, but it's also to amplify the resources that your partners offer as well, especially if they are partners who share your community, even up to the state level. It's really important to help share out other people's resources as well. And I'll explain the importance of making sure that engagement goes both ways a little bit later on in the presentation. because that is a huge component in driving how social media sees you and adds like a value to the post that you make throughout the month. The following event will be the Friday of that week, which is the Twitter chat. Historically, the Twitter chat has been where we get the most engagement. So we highly recommend everyone participating in the Twitter chat if you have a Twitter account, because it's a lot of sharing out resources from one another and answers. And last year, we had like our engagement on Twitter was like 20,000 something people were able to see the things that we tweeted and retweeted from other organizations. And that's just what they saw from us. So there's no telling with all of the partners posting how much was actually shared and engaged throughout the day. And then the last two national events happen a little later in the month, Project Greenlight and Light the Night community events. These two are often confused, but I want to make sure that we're clear on the difference between the two. Project Greenlight is actually getting like the buildings and the monuments all lit up in green. And that's something that happens throughout the month. We're looking for that to happen all month long. So any day that someone is willing to light up green, then we are happy to have that happen. The Light the Night community events is something that happens specifically on the 17th or as close to the 17th as possible. That's when we're wanting to do things like candlelight vigils or other community events where we're bringing a lot of engagement locally by having people actually come together and participate in the campaign. One of my favorite things that happened on Light the Night last year was an organization provided a bunch of green tea light candles and held a vigil. And it was really cool because it played into the whole like lighting the night in the actual green colors, like the monuments and things that we do. So back to Education Week, which I mentioned we would talk about those topics. Again, we're going to start the week off on the 31st, talking about key statistics related to youth homelessness. The second day, we're going to talk about age. The third day, we're talking all about race. Day 4 is all about identity and orientation. This is a day where last year we talked a lot about LGBTQIA2S+ specific issues. And day 5 will be talking all about human trafficking. Now, the goal is this year to have an overarching theme of mental health, because mental health is having a huge impact on youth across the country. So each one of these days, there will be a component that relates to each one of these things to mental health and talks about how that has an effect on the specific community being discussed. Now, the first thing I want to get into today is actually planning your content. So the first thing that you should be looking at when planning your content are the resources that we've already made available to you, because that's the easiest way to start. So I'm going to remind everyone to go to that website, 1-800-runaway.org/NRPM. And I'll share the page a little bit later to show you exactly where those resources are and how to download them and everything. But there's tons and tons of resources, and I'm even today adding more resources to make sure that we have all of the information that you need to have a successful campaign throughout the month. It's really important to also increase the actual number of posts that you're doing. The algorithm for Instagram and Twitter both recognize when you start posting more. They want you to post more, so they give you a little bit more engagement. They let more people see your post. I don't know if you know this, but on social media networks like Instagram and Twitter, they basically control how many people actually get to see your content. So let's say you have 1,000 followers and you post every day. There's no way to guarantee that all 1,000 people are going to see your post. In fact, it's actually really highly likely that they won't. So what they do is they reward you for being more active on social media. So the more you post, the more they're going to let people see all of the posts that you're making. So it's really important to like increase the number of posts that you have for NRPM leading up to the month. So like even starting that week before, it's good to go ahead and start increasing the amount of posts that you're making per day. You also want to go ahead and encourage your networks, like your volunteers, any board members, staff members, or former clients to engage with you and use the hashtag as well, because the more people who are following you and engaging with you and using the same hashtag, it boosts the likelihood that your posts are going to be seen by people outside of that network. And also don't forget that within the toolkits, which we released in our last partner call, it's full of messaging. So there are just things you can literally copy and paste right out of the toolkit and post to your social media. Also, there's a social media tip sheet that I just updated today on the NRPM webpage that has some additional bits where you can just insert your organization's name or your own social media handles and just paste them as they are. So I want to have a quick moment to let everyone else have a share. For people who have participated in NRPM in the past, I'm really curious, what did you find boosted engagement the most for you? What were the things that people seemed to enjoy the most? Were there any questions that you were left with after last year? And what didn't work as well as you expected it to? I'd like to see if I can maybe offer any ways to like change it up to make it work a little bit more in your favor. So feel free to unmute yourself or drop comments into the comment section and we'll try to answer those now.
Hi,
also, thanks to everyone for sharing.
This is Audra Pilardi. I'm with Midwest Youth Services in Jacksonville. We did quite a number of different things last year, but I think on our social media is what engaged the most with our community was when we posted commitment card pictures of local teachers, the mayor, chief of police, people like that. I mean, we posted their picture, kind of highlighted what they said, and that engaged the community a lot because they're seeing the people that they know across their account. And so we had fun doing that. And I think that's what boosted most of our engagement across our platforms.
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, when it comes to like people posting pictures on social media, the commitment cards are what we get the most of. So it's very easy to see that that is something that people like actually like to engage in. You can easily print the comment cards, the commitment cards that we have from our website and just hold them up like you see in the presentation. Did anyone else have anything that they would like to share? I'll share for us again, last year, the thing that got the most engagement for us was actually the Twitter chat. We had like a 30% increase of engagement in just that one day. And that engagement carried over for like 2 weeks. And the good part about that is that we will provide the Twitter questions in advance to all of the partners. So if you're registered and here today, you'll get those questions well in advance. So it's really just about like being available at the time that the questions are posting and then sharing what your partners are posting as well. Again, we'll make sure to talk about the importance of engagement going both ways a little bit later in the presentation, but it's definitely a great time to also be sharing out what other partners have to say in regards to the questions that are being asked. Did anyone have any in-person events last year, like a candlelight vigil or any type of NRPM related ceremonies? Nice. So it looks like Ben Martin's, you guys did a candlelight vigil last year. Oh, nice. You bring up a really good point there. So in the comment section, they're saying that they had a candlelight vigil last year that they not only live streamed, which is incredible, but they also had a youth ambassador speak at the vigil. I can't tell you how important it is to always bring things back to having a youth voice. So that's exactly what we want to see is young people who have lived experience or are volunteering in the youth homelessness community, like talking about what they're experiencing and how organizations like yours make a difference, how making a donation to that organization can help to change the lives of that young person, or how volunteering at the organization can change the lives of young people in the community. So always adding that youth voice component in is something that people are always excited to see. I get to interview our volunteer of the month every month, and hearing them talk about the work that they do and what brings them pleasure from volunteering, it reignites my passion for work every single month and like kicks me into overdrive. So like yesterday I had that interview, and today I'm just like working extra hard because I can really feel how much it makes a difference for them. Anyone else want to share before we move on? Okay. So tips for scheduling posts. The reason that I encourage people to prepare by scheduling their post in advance is because it frees up your time on the day of these things. There are a lot of social media management software programs out there that are online that are free or have trials. If you use the social media tip sheet, I actually list a few different options there. I highly encourage, because I know that not everyone wants to or has the ability to spend money on doing their campaigns, but a lot of these places will offer you a 30-day trial. So you could schedule your post for the month, and by the time that it's all posted, then you don't even need the service anymore unless you want to continue it. And more than likely, you'll find value in that service that'll probably make you want to keep it. Yes, someone mentioned Meta Business Suite, which is the official social media manager for Instagram and Facebook. It is not the most intuitive, but it is free, and it does allow you to schedule things in advance. It gives you previews of what exactly it will look like, and I think it actually lets you post the first comment on Instagram as well. A couple of tips that I'll just say out loud: if you are using a social media manager, one of the things that a mistake that a lot of people make is like making a caption for your post and then including the hashtags in that caption. On most services, Twitter included, you should actually be leaving those hashtags in the first comment. That draws all of the people who are searching for that into your post, but doesn't muddy the search engine optimization that will leave your, like basically get your social media accounts ranked on, like how they rank on Google and how likely they are to be seen on other websites. We'll talk about SEO a little bit later today. On the optimal times that are posted, they are all local times, and that matters because the first network that is able to engage with you when you post things are people who are closer to you. So posting between 9 and 10 a.m., every social media network agrees that that is the optimal time to post things. The reason that that is because hardly any social media network these days show content in the order that it's actually posted. If you'll remember earlier in the conversation, I mentioned that engagement is based on how much you actually engage. So the more you participate in posting and sharing out things, the more likely they are to share your content. So by posting at this time frame between 9 and 10 in the morning, the more you engage throughout the day, the more people are going to be able to see your post throughout the day. So there's a good chance that someone logs on, if you post at 9 or 10 in the morning, there's a good chance that someone who hasn't been on social media all day and logs on after work at say 6 or 7 is still going to be able to see your posts. And that's obviously the goal. And I also mentioned the importance of engagement before. Engagement definitely goes both ways. It's really important to not only share your own posts and, like I mentioned, increase the number of your posts, but it's also super important to engage with your partners. To, if they post something that you agree with or that you like, just leave a simple caption. It can be as simple as just posting like the hand clap emoji or a thumbs up emoji under their post, taking their posts and sharing them into your stories. That helps them, and it also helps you. It's increasing engagement on both sides, so it's more likely that both of you are going to have your posts seen. And that's the whole point of this partnership, is to make sure that we can help boost each other's engagement and then get closer to that goal of actually having NRPM trend. There is someone is asking in the comments about a social media post template, where you can just literally add your logo into the organization and it already has all of the NRPM information in there. That is one of the resources on that website, and I'm actually looking to add a couple of more of those, so there's some variety there. But there is a link, it's through Canva, and you don't have to have an account. Even I don't think if you do have to have an account, you don't have to have a paid account. You can definitely do it with a free account, so you would only have to register your email. And then you just simply upload your logo and replace it in the image file. It's extremely easy. It's almost as easy as using just a Microsoft Word document. I got ahead of myself earlier. I get really excited when I talk about engagement because it's really what social media has evolved into is like making sure that you're not just posting and then leaving. They want you to post and then they want you to engage with people as well. Yes, and these slides will be available online after the call. I try to have everything uploaded within an hour of the call ending. So as long as it doesn't take me forever to edit the beginning of the video, it should be right up. Now, the most important thing with engagement is that you're using that NRPM 2022 hashtag on every post. It is the foundation of our partner connection on social media. We want people to be able to find everything related to NRPM on social media just by clicking that hashtag. And like I mentioned before, engagement is a two-way street. So liking or leaving a comment on other partners' posts, sharing their posts to your stories on Instagram and Facebook, retweeting or quote retweeting to add additional context to their post on Twitter, and also injecting yourself into conversations about youth homelessness on other forums. So there are places like Reddit, LinkedIn that are forums where people are just constantly chatting about things like youth homelessness. There are several Reddit subreddits or what they're called, where they're dedicated to like young people asking questions about homelessness. That's a great place to have your organization like fact checking, even just making sure that people know the right information out there. I can't tell you how often I see people falling for like trolling memes of people saying things about waste services work or laws that are just incorrect. People just like making stuff up. So having your organization there showing that you can be trusted and provide factual information in a timely manner is something that'll drive people to your website. It'll something that'll have people reach out to your organization when they're in need. Filter, stickers, and more. Okay, I put a lot of pressure on myself to get all of these stickers and filters done for you guys, and it's a lot. But I do want to show you the progress that we've made to give you kind of an example of how these will be different from last year. So if you participated last year and you saw the stickers and filters and everything, I'm going to stop sharing for just a second. Spotlight for everyone. All of the ones from last year will be available again this year. Those will be the first ones that are available, but we're also adding some new ones that have cooler, newer features. So I'm gonna share a different screen really quickly. And this is a very rough example, but you can see this is kind of like a game. And right here where my mouse is hovering, there's an NRPM light bulb. So essentially with this little like game, you'll be able to this little light bulb is moving and it changes colors based on the little brick, and it's supposed to like jump up the ladder and you get a high score, and the score is tracked and you're able to see who got what high score and things like that. This is just one of example of like the different type of filters and things like that that we're trying to have on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook stories. And I just learned yesterday that I can also do this on Snapchat. So I will hopefully be adding a Snapchat component for this too. So I've learned that Snapchat is still one of the most popular social media platforms. I personally stopped using Snapchat many, many years ago because they made unsavory posts about domestic violence that I didn't agree with. But the young people are still there. So we definitely need to be reaching them in those places. So that's something that you'll see in the week leading up to National Runaway Prevention Month. I'll send out an email that has instructions on how to use all of the filters on all of the different social media platforms, as well as direct links that you can click that should open the app on your phone automatically and take you directly to that filter. Oh, while I'm sharing, I'm going to go ahead and share a couple of other things with you guys. This first one that I'm sharing is our social media manager buffer. This is just one example of a social media manager. It basically allows us to create posts. You fill in the text, select which platforms that you want to post it on. You click add an image or video, and it allows you to upload content. And then it gives you the option to basically schedule a post here. You can either schedule a post, you can automatically queue it up to post next, or you can share it now, which this is how we post all of our social media. Another one that I mentioned is Meta. Someone mentioned this in the comments. Meta is the official social media manager for Facebook and Instagram. So if you have those accounts tied together, then you can do the same thing here. You can just click create a post. And what's fun about this one is that it allows you to actually preview what that post is going to look like on the different platforms. So that's really cool. You can also manage any type of ads that you're running from this page, which is really helpful if you're planning on doing any paid promotions throughout the month. Another thing that I wanted to show you was how to search for content. This is really important because, again, you shouldn't just be posting your content. You should be seeking out the content that other people are sharing and trying to engage with that content. So one example, and it looks exactly like this on the app. There's a search bar, and it's as simple as typing in NRPM 2022. You can do it with or without the hashtag, and it'll still give you the same exact results. You click it, you see this because we've been posting about this, you're gonna see everything that we posted. And it looks like some other partners have actually already started posting about NRPM 2022, which is fantastic. It looks the exact same on Twitter. There's a search bar here. You can search NRPM 2022, or if you're, another thing you could do is look back at last year and search NRPM 2021. You're gonna see all of the content from last year that we posted, including the Twitter chat question. You can see that there's lots of engagement happening there. And Facebook also, same thing. You can search NRPM 2021. I do recommend on Facebook using the actual hashtag because it helps narrow the results to actual posts instead of pages and things like that. But still, you can search either way and it's going to pop up. So you see here, here's a post from last year from Project Oz about, I would imagine this is Project Greenlight. This is a bunch of different buildings who are lit in green throughout the month to show solidarity with National Runaway Prevention Month. I'm going to switch back to our presentation here. So the next thing that we're talking about is a little bit more complex. It is SEO optimization. Is anyone familiar with SEO optimization at all? You can just like nod or drop a yes or no in the comments. Okay. First of all, before we get deep into SEO optimization, if you're not familiar or comfortable with updating these things on your website, then don't. What we don't want to happen is we accidentally blow up your website on the week leading up to NRPM. But if you have like a technical team, or if you're using a simple tool like WordPress or Squarespace to host your website, then they have these things really easily laid out for you. So I'm going to share just a couple of tips for social SEO optimization so that we can help, again, improve the quality and the quantity of traffic that's coming to your social media pages and to your websites. So if you're not familiar with SEO optimization, it's search engine optimization. What that is you're basically telling websites like Google and Bing and Yahoo how you want to appear in the search results. So it used to be that you could go into something called a search console and just type in things that you want to appear in. But now, for the sake of clarity, what they've done is they read your website for the content that's actually posted there. So it's really important that when you're talking about things like NRPM, if you want to show up in those web results, then you need to use the appropriate titles for your web pages and for your images on the pages that you want people to link to. So one example I have is on our NRPM webpage, we made sure to title the page NRPM 2022 so that there isn't confusion about the previous page. And so that if somebody searches NRPM, it's more likely to show up than last year's page. It's also really important to add alternative text to your images. The alternative text is to help people who are differently abled, understand what images are being shown, especially for people who are colorblind. It provides a small text box that just gives a description of the image. Google looks at these first to determine which images are going to show up in the results because they want to show content that is going to be able to be viewed and recognized by everyone. So another thing that you want to do is to add focused keywords to your website. And these are actual search terms. There's a social media tips sheet to the left of this page that you'll see here. And on the third page of that, there's actually a full list of focused keywords that you can add. And a lot of them are the ones that we're actually using on our page. So if everyone is using similar tags, and that helps us dominate those search results. And I also on that SEO tip, the social media tip page, include a link to a website that offers a bunch of free tools for SEO optimization that teach you how to do it very quickly. And I also included a link to one YouTube video that's less than 20 minutes that gives a brief overview. What he claims is that he can help you get to the the first page of the search results for your website based on whatever you want to search. So if you want to challenge me and try to beat me to have the #1 search results for NRPM, then let's do it. I would love that. It just shows that there are more people out there working to get it done. So I want to share what our SEO looks like really quickly, just to give you an example. This is top secret stuff, if I can remember where I put it. Okay. So this is kind of what the back end of our website looks like. No secrets to be spilled here. But we use WordPress, and on WordPress, we have a tool called Rankman, which basically gives us a score, which you see here, out of 100 on how well our SEO is. I guess because when I was in school, an 81 was like a C. It doesn't feel really good to have an 81, but I've learned that the average SEO score on websites, because most people don't do SEO, is a 3. So we're doing actually really well. What has helped the most is that it gives us, I just want to make sure, can everyone see my screen okay? Okay, it looks like I may be having, let me stop sharing and try to share again. How about now? Can everyone see my screen? And it's showing these SEO results over here, correct? Okay, perfect. I have a secret helper who's sending me messages about this. Okay, so again, here's our score, 81 out of 100. That's considered a really great score. Anything over like a 65 is really great. So these are the focus keywords that I'm mentioning here. These are the exact phrases that we expect people to type in that we want to show up through our, that we want to show up in results for. So these are some very general examples. You can get more specific if you know there are specific keywords that are going to be searched in your area. We actually keep a running list of SEO terms that we try to keep updated based on what we think young people are searching. And we use our forum actually to help dictate that. So one obvious one is oh, I want to run away. So these are young people who are looking for information on running away, or what is the legal emancipation age in my state. One thing that you could add to this is adding your state or your city behind any of these terms. That'll help localize the search results. So if someone searches Wear Green Day in Philadelphia, it's gonna more than likely bring them to actual organizations that are participating in the Philadelphia area. So if they want to come and be a part of any events you're having, they're more than likely to see them there. Also, another cool thing about this is that it tells you basically what you're doing wrong and what you could change to make it better. So if I fix all of these errors that we have, then it would probably change my score to 100. But sometimes they're just things that are out of your control. So again, this is a little more complex. If you feel like you want to try this, I am happy to help. But again, you want to make sure that we're not going to blow anything up. It's not really likely with SEO because it's all about how your website appears off of your web page. But a lot of the back end stuff, getting to WordPress on the back end, can be really intimidating if you're not used to it. So I would rely on any type of media team or professionals you have that want to help. You can try to search to see if there are any organizations in your area that do SEO for nonprofits for free. You'd be surprised at how many people are out there that are willing to do that as volunteers. So definitely check that out. And again, this social media tip sheet that's on the left is on that NRPM webpage. Actually, let's look at the NRPM webpage really quickly. I mentioned before that I would show you, so I want to make sure to share. This is the home page. And if you scroll down just a little bit, or if you click this resources button, you'll come down here to the resources section. You can download all of the resources here. It'll download for you in a zip folder, or you can pick out the individual items that you want by clicking these buttons. They jiggle when you hover over them so that you know that they work or they light up or something. So like it, for example, the national events flyer is here. You click that, it just opens a PDF for you. And then you have the option to download that if you would like, or you can always come back to view it again. We have so many different things, like the official NRPM logos are available here for you to use to make your own graphics. We've added an NRPM QR code this year that you can print and use at different events that you're having, so people can scan it and go directly to the NRPM page. We've offered community PowerPoints that you can use to help give a presentation if you need a place to start with creating a presentation for that. The commitment cards are available here. They were just updated not too long ago. So if you had downloaded them before this call, you might want to check and download them again to make sure you have the most updated version. They're available in English and in Spanish. That social media tip sheet that I just uploaded is here. Oh, how beautiful. It's got nice colors. If for some reason this is hard to read for you, just send me an email. I'm happy to send a simplified version that has just black and white, so it's easier to read. But it basically has different examples of the graphics, different hashtags you should try to use on your social media posts, examples of the different social media software, tips for the social search engine optimization, those links that I mentioned before, and then example of those SEO focus keywords that you could add to your website or share with your tech team or media team or anybody that's working on your websites. And of course, as always, I keep my email open to answer any questions. And I really do mean anything. If you have any questions, feel free to email me at any time. I try my best to respond within the day so that you get a timely answer. And if I know I'm not going to be able to respond right away, I'll try to at least send you a message saying that I'm working on getting that answer to you, and I'll let you know as soon as it's available. I don't even know if I was sharing the right page just then. Just so you have my contact information. And also listed here is Beth Richmond. She's not on our call today, but she is our public relations consultant. Beth is going to be hosting our next partner call, which is all about the national events, hosting hybrid and virtual events. So especially when it comes to things like getting proclamations, trying to get different monuments lit up in green and things like that, it's going to be a really great call to ask Beth questions, because she is truly an expert in these things. Every year, there's just more and more that we're seeing get done. So I highly recommend that, like this call, you come prepared with questions or any concerns that you have so that we can try to address them on the call. And with that, I want to know if anyone has any questions about anything that we've talked about today or any additional comments that they'd like to make. I'm going to stop sharing. Oh, you know what? I made a mistake. The next call is actually pitching to local media, which is another great call for me, because this is going to be truly a call about like the PR of it all, making sure that you're getting the word spread, not just on your social media, but that like news outlets are able to pick up on the story. Someone saying, you mentioned putting hashtags in the comment section of the post. I like on our social media, we do not put the hashtags in the comments because the hashtags are really just a portal. And a lot of the times, oddly enough, the longer your caption is, it's kind of a hindrance to the amount of traffic that's going to come to that post. So it's better to post the captions in the first comment so that the information that's in that caption is more specific. That's again, when Google is looking for information, they're looking for the specific information that's being posted first. So if you have other things that are posted there that are taking up more space, then it's more likely that your results are going to fall a little bit more because there are other people who Google sees as having a more clear answer to the question that's being asked or to the search result that's being requested. So using that first comment on all platforms, from Twitter to Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook is a lot more helpful because you're still going to get people looking for that to your post by posting it in the first comment. So definitely use the first comment instead of the actual caption if you can to post those hashtags. Any other questions?
Christopher, I think people had a question about, people asked where they find the tool. I think this was referring to when you were showing the back end of the website and an optimization related conversation. If somebody wants to throw in the chat just to confirm that that's what that question was referring to, but I think that's what is being talked about.
Okay, that's a good question. So SEO is something that a lot more websites are building into their service. So when you're on the back end of your website, depending on who you're using, there are probably plugins that you can install on your website, and you install SEO management tools as a plugin. I think it'd probably be a good time to share what that actually looks like. So I can share my screen with you guys. So for instance, this is the back end of our website. We are hosted through WordPress. And WordPress is one of the more simple hosting tools. And within that, somewhere in here, there are SEO tools. So like within one of these menus, there's like an extra, oh, here it is. It's called Rankman. Now, this is something that I believe is a paid tool that is just a part of a package that we have on our website. All of these websites should have an option to add focus keywords for your pages and post within the option to post those. So like, no matter what page you're on, if you're using like WordPress, for example, or if you're using Squarespace or Blogger, it should all have a similar format to the post where you see the post here. If you go into edit, there should be somewhere within that page for you to edit your SEO focus keywords. If you're not sure where to find them, if you could send me an email with the name of your host, which would be here, or if you could like ask your tech provider or your marketing team, whoever runs your website, who your website is hosted through, then I can provide you an answer on how to update your SEO optimization options. And I'll drop my email in the chat here just one more time, just in case. Sometimes it's a little more difficult to explain, which is why I welcome anyone at any time to just shoot me an email, because sometimes it's hard to explain, but I can put it into words on paper really quickly, or send you a quick link, or send you a quick like tutorial video that shows you exactly how it'll work for that specific service. So that's why I say, please don't be shy. I don't bite. I try to be as friendly as possible and to answer as quickly as possible. Were there any other questions that I missed? I'm looking through this one more time. Yard signs or posters that you can create for your offices. One of my favorite tools that I have been using for like 2 years now is Canva. I'm going to drop a link for that. You can literally go to Canva. Share my screen one more time. This is on Canva, for instance. It's a PowerPoint presentation that I made on Canva. So you can go to Canva and type in, let's say, yard sign. It doesn't really matter. They're all going to be the same size. But you click yard sign here, and then it automatically is going to give you a bunch of different options for yard signs that you can use. These are just pre-built templates. And you basically just want to like go in and change the messaging. And it can be super simple. Like just for instance, I'll show you how easy it is. And we have ours set up a little bit because we've been using it for so long. But like I could just quickly go in here, delete this, blah, blah, blah. I have our NRPM logos here. Boom, yard sign. Then it automatically saves the file in the correct size. You just need to print it, like download the file and send it to a printer who can actually print the sign size for you, which I believe you can actually go to like a FedEx Kinko's with the file You can email it to them or take it to them on a hard drive, and they'll be able to print that on a yard sign for you. It's really simple. The tool that we use as a template for you to add your logos on social media is also through Canva. So you'll see here, it allows you to upload different things like your logos. You'll see we have like a logo here that you can upload. It allows you to use a ton, and I mean like a ton of free fonts that some are beautiful, some of them are hideous, and I would not recommend using them because they're incredibly difficult to read. But there are just so many options, and Canva is free. And if you are a nonprofit, then Canva will let you use their paid option for free. So as nonprofits, I encourage people to search nonprofit discount on everything because most places will. I think I've only found one service in my entire time here that does not offer a nonprofit discount, and that's Sprout Social. So make sure you're like, if you're seeing something that looks like it would be of value to you and it costs a lot of money, search the name of that service with nonprofit after it on Google, and it should take you to a page where it tells you all about the terms of having a nonprofit membership. And you can also, if they don't have any information, use their contact me tool to just send them a message saying, do you offer nonprofit discounts? 9 times out of 10, they'll respond in 24 hours saying, yes, we offer a nonprofit discount if you pay for the whole year, or if you sign up for this first, or just like you have to have a special link to do it that they'll send you. All right, I'm looking through just to make sure I didn't miss any other questions, and I'll try to like add these questions to the email I'll send out after this with the link to the presentation in this video, and make sure that the questions are answered there as well. Did anyone else have any questions or comments? All right. Again, if you're feeling just a little shy today and you didn't feel like answering questions, here's my email again. Copy and paste that. Send me an email whenever you feel comfortable. I don't answer between 6 o'clock at night and 7 o'clock in the morning. But other than that, I'll try to respond to you as quickly as possible. Thank you guys so much for joining today. I look forward to seeing you all at our next call, which again is pitching the story to local media. I misspoke earlier. Again, this is a really great call to join if you're looking to get some additional coverage from outside of your organization, especially on the news, on radio, things like that, trying to get proclamations from your local government. You're definitely going to want to attend this call. All right. Thank you guys very much. I look forward to seeing you soon.